Hello, everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law, where we learn through the misfortunes of others. As always, I hope you'll enjoy this live legal education content, and today may be the day I earn your subscription. For today's first stream of the evening, we will be covering 3 stories of a fun variety. And then in our second stream, we'll be talking about Chandler Halderson. Less fun. But, we can have the bitter and the sweet, and this is the sweet part of the equation. We've got 3 stories to tell you from the annals of wokeness and Supreme Court and other things. It is all kinds of stupid, and that's our favorite thing over here is the stupid. So let's do the stupid thing. Yeah, let's do all that stuff. So let me just pull that up and cover our first story. Western Carolina University subjects the RAs, which are resident assistants, to mandatory woke gender unicorn training. Okay, so just by way of explanation, for those of you who are not from the United States or not been to United States colleges or something, I don't know how they do it in other countries, but I can speak to our experience over here. So many colleges require freshmen to be on campus, and of course, it's not unusual for people beyond freshman year to be on campus in college dorms that are run by the college. So many colleges require all freshmen to be in a college dorm, and of course, any student can be in a college dorm. It is also very typical to have an RA. There's usually one per floor, and their job is to sort of help out the administration, really to spy on people and to make sure that they're not doing the drugs and alcohol and stuff, and to hold really stupid meetings that are mandatory for things that no one wants to go to. It's lame. But the position pays a little bit, or you get your housing for free or something, so it's not so bad if you are an RA. But yeah, that's what an RA is. They're a residential advisor, and their job is to be like, a narc, kind of, for the administration. But anyway, so these narcs now have to get some additional training about the gender unicorn and wokeness as part of their facilitating the interaction with, I'd like to remind you, college students. They're college students. And the RAs are usually, more senior college students, stuff like that. So, okay. All this stuff is stupid. All this stuff is stupid and it hurts, but that's one of the reasons we're here is because of the stupid that hurts so much. So let's read a little bit more. Go away thing, I don't need you right now. Resident assistants at Western Carolina University are subject to mandatory racial and gender sensitivity training, with slides instructing students to avoid certain phrases that could potentially be offensive. The college students to avoid phrases that could be offensive. In one of the presentations, a slide obtained by Fox News warned students that they are denying the racial experience of another person if they say, "When I look at you, I don't see color." How does that deny their experience? Just strictly by its own term, how does that deny their experience? They may have had experiences with other people who see color. Those experiences may be positive or negative. How is me saying, "When I look at you, I don't see color," doing anything is denying your racial experience? Presumably, up till now, I've not been a part of your experience in any variety. And if I have, I suppose you could agree or disagree with the statement. But just because other people have treated you in a racially based way, whether for good or ill, if I don't see it that way, I'm only speaking for myself. I'm not saying no one sees color. I'm saying I don't see color. How's that denying your experience? I'm not speaking for everyone else. I'm speaking for me. They are also told that referring to America as a melting pot can be deemed offensive and interpreted as saying you should assimilate to the dominant culture. Well, only if you're an idiot. Okay, so here's some things that you're not supposed to say, and here's some reasons why. When I look at you, I don't see color. You're denying my racial experience. No, I'm not. I'm literally not. I'm not speaking for anything else you may have experienced. At this point, I'm literally speaking only for me. I'm not speaking about anything related to your other experiences. Yeah. You're lying. How can you not see that I am? Well, it's not very nice to call me a liar. If I say I don't see color and you call me a liar, well, that's not off to a promising start. You want me to pretend that I don't have different experiences than you? That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. Just read the words on a page like a lawyer. Okay, what I said is, when I look at you, I don't see color. How are you getting from that? How are you getting from that? You want me to pretend that I don't have different experiences than you. I didn't say that. I made no such claim. I didn't claim that. I simply said that I don't see color. They made no claims about other people or their ability to see color or not, or judge based on color or not. How are you getting this? This is not a reasonable extrapolation of anything I said. College students, mind you. America is a melting pot. You should assimilate to the dominant culture. You should have my experience, immigrant, etc. Yeah. There is only one race, the human race. You better not talk about racism. Racial problems are caused by minorities. That is nothing I said. I didn't say that. How are you getting this from what I said? I said there's only one race, the human race. And from that, you're getting racial problems are caused by minorities? How are you getting that from what I said? First of all, by my own terms, I don't believe in racial minorities. Remember? Because I'm saying there's only one race, the human race. So from my frame, I'm literally claiming there are no minorities. You can't have a minority when everything is the same. It's just all the same. So, yeah. I'm not sure how you're getting that from what I said. I think you're being paranoid. Gender or race does not affect the way I treat you. Okay. Apparently this can be interpreted as your experience is not valid. Again, this is a failure to listen and comprehend. This is a failure to listen and comprehend. What I said is, I think you're being paranoid. Gender or race does not affect the way I treat you. From which you're getting your experience is not valid. That is not the same thing. It is not a reasonable extrapolation. I'm not trying to make any claims about your experience writ large. I'm not trying to make any claims about the way anyone else has treated you. Ever. Or even right now. I'm literally only speaking for myself. I'm literally only saying gender or race does not affect the way I treat you. Now, you could disagree with that statement if you have a basis to disagree with it. It's like, yes, you have treated me differently, and this is how. But you can't say that I'm saying your experience is not valid. I didn't say that. I'm only making claims for me. How are you getting this? My opinion about your experience is true. As opposed to your opinion about your experience is true? I mean, that's the only alternative, right? So apparently I'm saying my opinion about your experience is true. Well, maybe none of us are true, to be quite honest, in the strictest sense of true. Maybe none of our perceptions are true. But I could have a different opinion than you, and your opinion could be wrong, even about things that you perceived and experienced. You could perceive slights where none existed. For example, the slight you're perceiving right now about your experience not being valid, that slight would be an example. You are perceiving that I've said your experience is not valid. I didn't say that. I simply said I don't affect you. So yeah, your opinion about what I said is not what I said. So in this case, your opinion about your experience is in fact invalid, because you have somehow radically misunderstood the words literally I said and are translating it to something completely different. Again, college students, where we might, treat, basically about how people, what they are actually saying. In another class titled Rainbow 101, college students are shown a picture of the gender unicorn, outlining various gender identities and gender expressions, along with a video titled Human Sexuality is Complicated. Is there a link to the video? Oh my God, there's a link to the video. Okay, kids. Okay, kids, we're doing this. We're going into the Matrix, kids. Yes. This is a thing that's happening now. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. We are going to watch this video. We're going to watch it together, because it's the only way for us to truly understand. Okay, let's do this. Hold on.
Good morning.
Yep. No, okay. Okay, so this is from Vlog Brothers. This is from Vlog Brothers from, when is this? Does this have a date on it? Not that I see. It is, but it looks like an older video. Yeah, looks like an older video. Anyways, let's watch this video about human sexuality is complicated and comment along the way. Fun.
John, today we plumb the depths of the marvelously complex human. But first, allow me to acknowledge that I am not a sociologist. I'm also a straight white man who doesn't have to worry about a lot of the hate that a lot of other people do have to worry about. But my goal with this video is I want people to understand, because I think understanding will lead to less hate and also less self-hate. For a lot of people, it's nice to imagine that humans are simple and that you can know a person's sex and then you will know all sorts of things about them deeply and clearly. And if you don't...
Well, I don't know about all sorts of things deeply and clearly, but I'll know some things deeply and clearly. It may be somewhat limited, but I don't know about all sorts of things. But I might know, as they said in the movie Kindergarten Cop, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. So apparently that line from Kindergarten Cop is now transphobic. Or something. Okay.
If you don't fit into this nice little box, people who do can get really confused and sometimes even angry. And if you yourself don't fit into one of these nice little boxes and you think that people should, then you end up hating yourself. And that's probably even...
well, you might want to fit in all kinds of boxes depending on your ability to. And be frustrated. I mean, I might hate myself because I'm not, in fact, the world's greatest singer, despite my protestations to the contrary. But if I want to fit into the best singer box, I might be a little self-hating, but, that's the nature of not being able to achieve a goal, I guess.
Even worse. I think the best and maybe only way to solve this problem is for people to understand that there are no nice, shiny boxes.
There are lots of nice shiny boxes. That's one of the fundamental conservative structures. This is anti-conservative in one of the most pure senses possible. One of the things that define conservatives in general is conservatives like boxes. They like categorization. They like rules. They like process. They like things that are segmented. They like dividing lines. They like borders in every possible sense of the word borders. Borders between ideas, borders between categories, borders between countries. They like things to belong here and things to belong there. And they don't necessarily oppose creating new categories, although they would like them defined so that, we all understand the new boxes we're playing with. But, yeah.
If there are shiny boxes, there are an infinite number of them, enough to put all of the people who currently exist, have ever existed, and will ever exist. So
this is sort of the This would lead you to the conclusion that the ultimate minority is the individual, which, you know, is a testament to individualism, which also these days is more conservative, which is ironic, because somehow the conservatives became more individualistic than the progressives, which seems very bizarre, backwards. How this happened? The conservatives, again, like institutions. Conservatives like institutions. They like groups, and they like categories, and they like structure. So classically, conservatives are less individualistic. But these days, somehow, the conservatives became individualistic, and the progressives became communal. Yeah, this is a weird thing. But yeah, this is the idea that the ultimate minority is the individual, which is at its core is a testament to individual sovereignty, or a testament to individual quasi-divinity. The idea that there's a spark of what you might call the divine that is part and parcel of every person, and is unique and needs to be respected as sacred in some sense. Jordan Peterson talks about these same concepts as well, right? These are not necessarily religious concepts, even though I'm using slightly religious language for it, because it's kind of the easiest way to describe the concepts, but it doesn't necessarily require a religious component. You just have to believe that there's something inherently worthy of respect about human beings for the sake of being human beings. And, but let's listen to more of this crap.
Oh, together. Let's understand. We're going to start simple. What's going on down here in between the legs, that is your sex, your biological sex. And it tends to be binary, though there are all sorts of conditions that result in intersex individuals. And as...
Yeah, but can we just deal with the 99.6% or whatever it is, 99.8% of people that aren't that? I mean, conservatives can't account for everything, right? When you're doing boxes, things will not always cleanly fit into boxes, but that's okay. As long as the boxes work the vast majority of the time, then they're a good tool, right? You don't throw away the boxes because they aren't perfect. If the boxes work, the vast majority of the time, yeah. So we can just treat it like two boxes, and for the purposes of every practical exercise.
Interesting and complicated as this is, the rest of it is much more complicated, so I'm just going to move on from here, because we all kind of get what sex is. Now we move on up to the top, to the brain, which is the thing that decides what gender you identify with, whether you feel like a man or a woman or neither or both, because the fascinating thing...
Okay. We're going to have this discussion now. Okay, we're having this discussion now. This is the thing that's happening now. All right. What does it mean to feel like a man? What does it mean to feel like a woman? What does that mean? How would I know if I felt like a man or a woman? Seriously. What qualities would I be looking for? Is it something objective? Is it like, if I have these qualities, I think I'm a woman, or if I think I have these qualities, I think I'm a man? I mean, what does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Maybe I feel like a woman. How would I know the difference? Right? I mean, because I only feel like me. So maybe the way I feel is like the way a woman feels. I have no idea. Or maybe it's the way a man feels. I have no idea. From their frame of reference, what does that mean? So, do I feel like a man or a woman? Well, I don't even understand the question. What does it mean to feel like a woman? Does it mean like that you prefer to be with people instead of things? Does it mean that you like soft fabrics? Does it mean you like frilly clothing? Does it mean that you feel demure or powerful? Does it mean that you... because it's not the same thing as like being gay, right? Because if you're gay, you're just attracted to someone of the same sex. So you can be gay without feeling like a woman. That's what the nature of being gay would be, right? So I'm not attracted to people who are biologically male. I'm attracted to people who are biologically female. So I'm not gay. But do I feel like a woman? What it would mean? Because I know what it means to be gay. It would mean that I'm attracted to, presuming I am a man. Presuming I am a man, it would mean that I feel attracted to another man. But how do I know if I feel like a woman or feel like a man? What does that even mean? Asking for definitions is transphobic. Apparently. Are you uncomfortable with it? Are you in pain from it? Uncomfortable with what? I'm depressed all the time. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it feels. How do I know if I feel like a woman? What does it feel like to be a woman? What does that even feel like? I don't know. I have no clue. Is it people who like romance stories? Is it people who like to talk and gossip, or am I just appealing to stereotypes? What modes of thought or what modes of thinking would represent woman thinking? What modes of thinking or ways of thinking would represent man thinking? How do I know if the ways I'm thinking are man or woman? How do I know? How do I know the difference? What is the difference? I don't know. The left won't tell me. It's very confusing to me.
Thing is, as much as we try to label things, there is no way to label every point on an infinite continuum, and that's what we're dealing with here. So,
no, we're not. We're not dealing with an infinite continuum. I reject your premise. I reject your premise.
To actually visualize how this works, I've created a graph for you. On the x-axis, we have gender, male to female, and on the y-axis, we have the intensity of the identification with that gender. I would be about here, because I identify as a man, though I recognize that there are some womany parts of me, but let's also put a...
What does it mean to have womany parts? Seriously, what does that mean? What does that mean to have womany parts? Are you saying, like, effeminate? Are you saying effeminate? Are you saying that the degree to which you are a woman is the degree to which you're effeminate versus masculine? Because I have no particular problem with the concept of effeminate men and masculine women. I know a fairly masculine woman right now, as a matter of fact. And you know, it's fine. So like, I know what effeminate and masculine looks like, but you can have effeminate or masculine women, or you can have effeminate or masculine men. I mean, I don't consider myself particularly effeminate, but there's some women who don't consider themselves particularly effeminate. So am I a woman? I don't know. Are we talking about effeminacy? I don't understand.
Hypothetical biological female on the graph that identifies very strongly as a man. Now that could be really uncomfortable, especially when there's a bunch of people in the world who insist on calling him a woman just because of the body that he happens to be very uncomfortable with, which is why...
So it's being uncomfortable with your body, so it's a form of dysmorphia? Like it's feeling like, is it the same or comparable to like feeling like I don't want an arm? Like, because there are people who have that, like the body dysmorphia, and one of the things that they can have is a feeling like they shouldn't have their right arm or their right leg or something. They feel like that body part is wrong. Some of them actually go to the extent of having surgery to remove it, you know, whether, you know, done by a surgeon or, you know, sort of more ad hoc, because they feel like that part of their body doesn't believe them. So is it a dysmorphia thing? So if you have body dysmorphia, you're the other gender? Is that how that works? I don't know.
Sex does not determine the pronoun you should use. Gender does. Now, moving on to your heart. Your metaphorical heart, of course. This is who you're attracted to. Men, women, all genders. Again, it's a...
Wait. Attracted to men, women, all genders. So this is an infinite continuum of genders. So in this frame, my heart is attracted to a point on the infinite continuum or parts of the infinite continuum. I'm confused. I don't understand.
spectrum, and that spectrum includes intensity, because there are people who don't feel strong sexual attraction at all. That's why asexual is a sexual orientation. A newer idea that I was happy to be exposed to yesterday on Tumblr is the idea of romantic orientation. These are the people that you want to have strong, intimate relationships with, but it sort of separates out the idea that sex has to be the goal or end point or like end all and be all.
I do not believe sex is the end point or end all be all. I don't know if there's a lot of people who think that. Oh, I guess there's some. I think sex is important in a relationship. I think sex is a quintessential part of a relationship, but it's not necessarily the thing that is most important to me. As has been said by other people, you show me a beautiful woman, and I'll show you a man who's tired of fucking her. Just because you have a beautiful woman is not enough. There's more than that, right? You want a woman or a man for that matter, I would presume, for all kinds of things. Sex is part of the equation. It's an important part. It's a necessary part, but it's not necessarily the primary part. It's not the end goal. It's a very strange way of thinking about it to me.
Of every intimate relationship. Now that we've dealt with how we feel, let's deal with what happens when other people actually get involved. That's sexual behavior, which is actually very different from sexual orientation. Now that might seem a little bit strange at first, but it's not. Consider, for example, a heterosexual priest. That priest's orientation is heterosexual, but because of his religion, his behavior is celibate. Here we're not talking about the preference, we're talking about the behavior. Now built on top of all of this are gender roles, which are built by societies, not by individuals. The obvious ones are...
Why? And also, because there's an infinite number of genders, it would be, I think, impossible for society to build gender roles. I mean, from your frame, right? There's an infinite number of genders. That's your argument. So how could society possibly build roles for all those infinite number of genders? Are you seeing a conflict here?
Are masculine gender roles and feminine gender roles, but as all dichotomies are false dichotomies, this one is a spectrum too. Now that we've sort of gone over all of this,
all dichotomies are not false dichotomies. That's just bullshit. That itself is a false dichotomy. The very phrase, all dichotomies are false dichotomies, is itself a false dichotomy.
It's important to note that every single one of these categories is independent from each other. So a biological female can be a man who only has sex with women despite the fact that he's attracted...
Well, I can't have sex with men or women, remember? Because sex is about gender, and there's an infinite number of them.
Both men and women, and kind of, feels more comfortable in feminine gender roles. That may not be the most common combination of these factors.
Okay, but he's a man. He's a man who feels more comfortable in feminine gender roles. But he's still a man, which personally I believe is definitely possible. But he's more feminine, or he prefers what might be classically thought of as female roles, but he's still a man. I don't even understand what we're talking about. These definitions don't make any sense.
But it's certainly not weird. And another important point, many people move across these spectrums, sometimes from year to year, sometimes hour to hour. But what's really important is that we trust ourselves, and we understand ourselves, and we love and respect ourselves, and we grant that same understanding and respect to the people around us. Because when the world becomes one of infinite...
I don't understand. I literally don't understand. How can I understand this? I'm not being provided any definitions. It doesn't make any sense.
Continuums and those false dichotomies break down, and those 2 shiny boxes break apart into 7 billion shiny boxes. That's actually pretty beautiful. John, I'll see you on Tuesday.
What if my box doesn't recognize your box? Is that a valid box? Are you negating my truth because I don't recognize your box? How's this work? I don't understand. Moving back to the article that we left off from so long ago, one of the presenters, a black woman, said she was too afraid to stop her car in northern Georgia because she's black, which prompted a conversation with students about post-traumatic slave disorder. She can't have post-traumatic slave disorder. She can't have post-traumatic slave disorder. You know how I know that? She wasn't a slave. So, Can't be that. The trainings take place each semester and are mandatory for both the new and existing RAs at the school. And here we learn about the gender unicorn, which I've seen this graphic before. And I think, at least in one school, was being taught to elementary students, as memory serves. So unfortunately, this bullshit is not being shared just with the college students. Unfortunately, it's being shared in an elementary school probably near you. So gender identity can be female, woman, girl, male, man, boy, or other gender. Like what? Gender expression can be female, masculine, or other. Like what? Sex assigned at birth. Female, male, other. Physically attracted to women, men, other. I don't like the gender unicorn very much. I don't like the gender unicorn. I want to kill the gender unicorn. I'm going to take up hunting. And I'm going to stalk the gender unicorn. And I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it hard. Additionally, the school holds segregated RA support spaces. One support space is designed for the Black, Indigenous, and people of color, so it's racially segregated, while another is referred to as general support space. It really pisses me off. What should be one of the premier leadership positions on campus, being an RA, has been hijacked by wokeness, says one Western Carolina student. I took the job because I wanted to help people in their college experience, not to be told that men and women don't exist and that everyone has their own gender unicorn. So the gender unicorn lives within each person? Well, time for me to get started, I guess. Another student in the meeting told Fox News that one of the presenters mocked a conservative area of the state for its politics and suggested gay people should not feel safe there. The student also said that presenter explained that sex and gender do not involve genitals. I feel like they do. I feel like the genitals is kind of important. Yeah, I kind of like the female ones, personally, and yeah. In April, Fox News reported that a housing coordinator at Western Carolina University instructed RAs not to use the word Christmas or Easter due to school inclusion goals. But had no problem mentioning those other holidays from other religions or cultures, I'm sure. Fox News also reported that in November, a tampon dispenser funded by student fees was being placed in male restrooms. That seems odd. It seems that W in WCU now stands for woke. Yeah, it seems that way to me. Well, that was a lot of bullshit about the gender unicorn. Yeah. Our second article of the day. Professor sounds alarm on liberal woke math movement. The math has become woke. Hold me. I'm going to ask a question. A question I feel I might actually get the answer to in the very near future. And I'm pretty sure I will regret asking this question. But pray, article, tell me, what is woke math? Hold me. Eric Smith, professor at York College in Pennsylvania and co-founder of Free Black Thought, harshly criticized the latest woke movement in liberal education that aims to eliminate advanced math classes in schools. So it's just elimination of math? That's woke math, is non-math? I mean, that makes as much sense as anything else, I think. Smith agreed Thursday with more than 1,000 professors who took a stand against the movement. In an open letter, the educators argued that woke movement would actually worsen the problems of inequality because it would reduce access to foundational education. This is dumbing down, Smith said of the movement. If you're creating a form of education specifically for one group of kids because they can't learn like everyone else, that's just another iteration of soft bigotry of low expectations. So what, we're not allowing black students to sign up for calculus? Is that what we're doing? Smith explained on Fox Friends that the math education can be racist if you subscribe to woke ideals. It can be racist if you abide by this new movement on quote-unquote woke left that says reason and rationality and even the scientific method itself are inherently white. I've seen this. I've even seen a textbook that says math is white. Math is whiteness. But proponents of the curriculum argue it makes math education more inclusive by excluding. I think it's more separatism. I think it's more segregation. I think it's unnecessary. Regressing into stereotypes to teach certain groups of people is going backwards culturally. You think? He warned this type of curriculum has had a lasting impact and doesn't set up students for a successful future. And that's the danger of this new far-left version of education. When they do get into college, it's not a good fit because they're in a situation they have been prepared for. It sets them up for failure. That is a bit of a problem with affirmative action. You might let someone into college who is not prepared to be there and then suffers a risk of being failed out of school. So there's that. Let's see if I can find this guy's exact letter because I want to see what he wrote. Let's see. As I scroll behind the scenes. Let's see if I can find this guy's letter real fast. Is anyone going to give me the link to the actual letter? Watch none of the sources give me a link to the actual letter. Because that would just be too helpful. You think the Blaze has it? Nope. Okay, let's see if this is it. This is what I need. Okay, I think I found it. Yay. Open letter on K-12 mathematics. We write to express our alarm over recent trends in K-12 mathematics education in the United States. All of us have firsthand experience on the role that clear mathematical thinking has played in advancing information technology and American economic competitiveness. We also share the urgent concern that the benefits of a robust math education and the career opportunities it opens up should be shared more widely between students of all backgrounds, regardless of race, gender, and economic status. We fully agree that math education should not be a gatekeeper but a launch pad. However, we are deeply concerned about the unintended consequences of a recently well-intentioned approach to reform math education, particularly the California Mathematics Framework. Such frameworks aim to reduce achievement gaps by limiting the availability of advanced mathematical courses to middle schools and beginning high schoolers. We're taking away the advanced math from the middle schoolers and the high schoolers. While such reforms superficially seem successful at reducing disparities at the high school level, they are merely kicking the can to college. While it's possible to succeed in STEM in college without taking advanced courses in high school, it is more challenging. College students who need to spend their early years taking introductory math courses may require more time to graduate. They may need to give up other opportunities and more likely to struggle academically. Such a reform would disadvantage K-12 public school students in the United States compared with their international and private school peers. It may lead to a de facto privatization of advanced mathematics, K-12 education, and disproportionately harm students with fewer resources. So we are achieving equality. We're achieving equality by the only method that there is really to achieve equality. There is one method to achieve equality. There's one. And this is the method. You reduce everyone to the lowest common denominator. That's how you accomplish equality, right? You can't raise someone above what they can do because they're limited by themselves. So you can't do that. But what you can do is you can reduce everyone to the lowest common denominator, and then everyone's equal. So that's what we're doing over here. We're literally taking away advanced math and AP math and other advanced placement classes from the middle school and high school students so that everyone will be equal, because no one takes the class. So no one's prepared for the STEM, and it will be behind their peers who did have the class. Super fun. Another deeply worrisome trend is devaluing essential mathematical tools such as calculus and algebra in favor of seemingly more modern data science. I have no idea what that is. As STEM professionals and educators, we should be sympathetic to this approach, and yet we reject it wholeheartedly. The ability to gather and analyze massive amounts of data is indeed transforming to our society, but data science, computer science, statistics, and artificial intelligence is built on foundations of algebra, calculus, and logical thinking. While these mathematical fields are centuries old and sometimes more, they arguably are more critical for today's grand challenges than in the Sputnik era. Yeah, perhaps unsurprisingly, the advanced math is built on the not advanced math. You know, the advanced math is built on the non-advanced math. So probably helpful to have the basics down too. We call on national, state, and local governments to involve college-level STEM educators and STEM professionals in design of K-12 mathematics and science education courses. Set the following explicit goals and allocate resources to help districts meet these goals. All students, regardless of background, have access to math curriculum with precision and rigor that would enable them to pursue STEM degrees and careers if they choose. Seems like a good idea. Far from being deliberately held back, all students should have an opportunity to be nurtured and challenged to fulfill their potential. Yeah, maybe we should let everyone reach to their limits, even if not everyone can reach to those limits. Because society as a whole will be better off if everyone works to their limit. We'll maximize productivity. If everyone works to their limit, we maximize productivity. There's nothing better to do. Students should have the opportunity to take these classes at grade levels of middle and high school when they're ready, so that they acquire tools to explore other STEM options and can build their proficiency in a balanced pacing, avoiding irresponsible compression late in high school. Mathematical education is a challenging enterprise, and we have the utmost respect to our K-12 college colleagues, I don't think you do, who are doing this hard work. In appreciation of the difficulty, we believe changes to the educational standards should be appropriate with care, using incremental experimentation built on lessons learned from both the U.S. and abroad, and using credible measures of success. Whoa, hey, there's a deep concept. Maybe we should proceed slowly, in steps, and like with measurements of whether it's working or not, so we know if it's good. In contrast, initiatives like California's proposal dramatically changes based on scant and inconclusive evidence. Subjecting children of our largest state to such an experiment is the height of irresponsibility. Finally, K-12 math curriculum development cannot be disconnected from one of its most important end goals: preparing students to enter college successfully for STEM educations and STEM careers. As educators in public and private institutions, and working with professionals in technology industry, we have a firsthand understanding of the skills needed for this goal. While the U.S. K-12 system has much to improve, the current trends will instead take us further back, reducing access to advanced mathematics and elevating trendy but shallow courses over foundational skills would cause lasting damage to STEM education in this country and exacerbate inequality by diminishing access to the skills needed for social mobility. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah. All right. For our last story for this stream, For our last story for this stream, and I'll remind everyone who is listening that we will be getting another stream basically immediately following this stream. We'll take probably a short break for my own sanity and probably to get some alcohol because I'm going to need it. We're doing the Chandler Henderson case. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the interview he did with the police, which was recorded, and testimony from the girlfriend to learn even more how screwed he is. So if you're enjoying this live stream, this is the fun live stream. If you want the after dark live stream, it will follow this live stream, and we'll talk about a guy who murdered both of his parents and then cut up their bodies and distributed them all over the part of southern Wisconsin. And we'll learn about what he had to tell the police and his girlfriend and stuff. Should be exciting. But before we do that, let's talk about Sana Sotomayor making an ass out of herself. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor came under withering criticism Friday after she falsely suggested that upwards of 100,000 children in the United States are hospitalized from COVID-19, many of them on ventilators. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. During oral arguments on the Biden administration's mandate on private businesses for employers to be either vaccinated or tested, Sotomayor drastically overstated the number of young people who have fallen severely ill from coronavirus. Quote, "We have hospitals that are almost at full capacity with people severely ill on ventilators. We have over 100,000 children, which we've never had before, in serious condition, many on ventilators." Might want to double check your numbers on that one. While there are more children hospitalized now than at any point in the pandemic, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the 7-day average of pediatric hospitalizations was around 3,700 this week, according to the Washington Post. Not quite 100,000. As with prior strains of the virus, younger people are at far less risk than older ones of severe outcomes. Fact checkers, hello, said Fox News contributor Joe Concheta, asked in response. Inexcusable for a Supreme Court justice to peddle this fear-mongering of false info. It's actually terrifying that the Supreme Court justice can be so misinformed. The emperor has no clothes, DeSantis' press secretary said. Yeah. The Supreme Court heard arguments Friday in a high-stakes decision to determine whether or not the mandates can be enforced. For 3 hours and 40 minutes, when we do this Supreme Court React, I don't know, I'm going to have to charge you guys by the minute or something on Super Chats when we do the Supreme Court React. 3 hours and 40 minutes of this stuff? You want me to cover and break down? I mean, you know. In 3 hours and 40 minutes, the justices heard oral arguments over federal vaccine and testing rules for businesses with 100 employees or more, and on vaccine mandates for healthcare workers at facilities receiving Medicare and Medicaid funding. Enforcement of the policies, which were announced in November, have been put on hold pending resolution. Sotomayor was nominated by Obama, has been on the Supreme Court since 2009. Yeah, that's, great. So let me read a few super chats, and then I'll kill this stream, and I will go to the stream about killing with a mutilation. Let's take a look. Super chat from $10 from Andrew Roan. Everyone put on your helmets. $5 from Eldritch Blasted. As someone who majored in math in undergrad, woke math stuff makes me cringe as much as Nick's chat. Not knowing that 2 rolled die give you 36 combinations. I know, right? That was a really frustrating, that was a very, very frustrating conversation. on Nick's chat. That was an incredibly frustrating conversation on Nick's chat. Right. I said if you roll 2 dice, you can have 36 different combinations. You know, as long as you remember which dice is first and which dice is second. You would have 36 combinations. I know there is. It's easy to prove, right? If the first dice is 1, the second dice can be any number 1 through 6. So that's 6 combinations. And then, of course, the first dice can be any number 1 through 6, which means it's 6 times 6, which is 36. But the chat was refusing to understand this. They're like, no, that's not. That's stupid. There's no difference between 5 and 3 and 3 and 5. There is if you're keeping track of the position of the dice. Yes. There is a difference between 3 and 5 and 5 and 3. If you care about the dice position. Yes. I mean, the total's still 8, but it matters in this frame. There's only one. There's only it's 31, or someone says yeah, it's 31 or 30. It's 30 because you have to subtract all the ones where the dice are the same. You have to subtract 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5 because there's only one way to get to 5 5. Actually, no, there's 2 ways to get to 5 5. Because it could be 5 and 5. Or yeah, so the whole thing was a whole pile stupid. So yeah, it was a whole pile stupid. Especially if you don't care about dice order, right? If you don't care about dice order, then there are 2 ways to get to 5 5. If you do care about dice order, there's only 1 way to get to 5 5. But if you don't care about dice order, there is 2 ways. So their own arguments were self-defeating, is what I was trying to say. $5 from Alpha Photographer. No message, but thank you for the super chat. $4.99 from Not a Banned Account. If these bureaucrats want centralized control so much, why not go for broke? Third Amendment. Quarter some peacetime soldiers and citizens home. Respect. $10. Matt from Tinder. Good evening, my legal advisor, not a legal advisor. Do you have a Discord or ever do call and streams? Yes, I do have the Discord. The link is in the description of every single video. All of them, including this one. Also, will I see you in Mr. Branca's class on self-defense? I don't know. Probably not, to be honest. I'll have to watch the replay. I'm very busy at work and I need to work tomorrow. $5 from Super Iron Bob. 2 rolled dice give you an indeterminate number of combinations if you haven't specified the number of sides. Pendant. We said 6-sided dice in the we said explicitly 6. We said casino dice and we said 6-sided. $10 from Matt from Tinder. If you're going to be charging for Supreme Court React streams, I suggest inviting some other ons. Premium Media or All Minus One to add an audience. They can get paid. They can pay while you get more exposure. Super chat, $5 from Kimberly Moriarty. Ordering matters in permutations, not combinations. Exactly so. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Well, my friends, $1.99 from Not a Band of Camp. Where are you on locals? Well, we have a locals. It's uncivillaw.locals.com. And I'm really busy at work right now. So hopefully things will lighten up on the 15th, and then I can start giving more attention to that. But at the moment, I'm so busy in my day job, I'm slogging through. But we'll try to do as much. We'll try to get there sooner rather than later. And I apologize for any delay, but we're doing what we can. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to sign off. I'll be back on stream in what's scheduled for 5 minutes, but more realistically 10, because I need a little bit of break. But if you've enjoyed the stream, please remember to give it a like. If you haven't done this already, you can join for 99 cents. Do subscribe. Do all the YouTube things. I will see you in a couple minutes on the other stream. We'll be talking about Chandler Halderson and his nightmare. Until later, my friends, I hope all is well. Cheers.